Google Maps is an incredible tool that's revolutionized how we navigate the world, but did you know that it's also uncovered some shocking crimes? The platform has captured everything from the capture of mafia leaders to the discovery of illegal substance growth, and in this video, we'll explore 15 of the most shocking crimes spotted on Google Maps. Number 1. The capture of Italian mafia boss Gioacchino Gamino. On January 5th of 2022, Italian mafia boss Gioacchino Gamino was arrested in Spain thanks to a Google Maps sighting. He was on the run for more than 2 decades and was one of the most dangerous members of the Italian mafia. He was caught on assassination charges and other crimes, but he fled prison. The Italian authorities have been hunting him for years, placing him on the country's most wanted list. However, despite their best efforts, they were unable to locate him. That was until an anonymous tip-off led Spanish police to a supermarket. The tip-off was prompted by a Google Maps image of a man who resembled Gamino standing outside the supermarket talking to another person. The image had been uploaded just days before the arrest. But since it was almost 20 years since he had been on the run, police took a little time to recognize him via his old images and later confirmed that the man in the Google Maps images was indeed Gamino. It would later be reported that he had been living in Calpe under the disguise of a supermarket owner. It was finally confirmed to be Gamino, who had somehow managed to flee Spain 20 years ago, assuming a new identity and now living as a completely different person. Spanish police immediately arrested him, and he was transferred to Italy where he would face trial. Gamino probably never imagined that a Google application would be the reason for his downfall. Number 2. Discovery of William Moult's car. In 1997, William Moult went missing. His family had no clue where he had gone, and thinking that someone might have abducted him, they then reported the incident to the police. A missing person search would then commence, but nothing relating to William was ever found, even after multiple efforts. Did the earth simply swallow him up, or did the skies take him above? Nobody really knew. His disappearance remained a mystery for over 2 decades. But that all changed in 2019 when a person randomly examining his last known location on Google Maps spotted a submerged yellow car in a lake in Moonbay Circle, Wellington, Florida. The person then contacted local authorities, and upon arrival, the authorities confirmed that a car was submerged in the lake. A recovery team was brought in to retrieve the vehicle, and an investigation began as to whom the vehicle belonged to. The identified car matched that of William Moult at the time of his disappearance. Upon further inspection, the authorities discovered the human remains inside the car. DNA testing would confirm that the remains were in fact William Moult, thus ending a 2-decade-long mystery of his disappearance. Thanks to technological advancement, with the help of Google Maps, his family could find closure and a sense of calmness that their loved one was not forgotten. Number 3. High-speed police chase. If you need further proof of whether Google Maps captures your every move, its Street View feature has captured a Siberian robbery. 2 students ready to rob a jewelry store were caught after a wild chase. This entire chase from start to finish would be caught on Google Maps. It all began when police were alerted to the fact that 2 young men were trying to rob someone at a jewelry store, and they responded in only a few minutes. Once they reached the location, the boys were alerted that the police had shown up and began running as fast as they could, got into their vehicle, and then drove away, and that's where the police chase commenced, cutting through narrow streets and roads, making drifts at high speed, and yes, after an hour or so, the long chase finally came to an end, and the 2 students would be apprehended. They were then sent to prison, and hence also learned quite the lesson for what they did, and the entire incident would be caught on Google Maps. Number 4. Horrifying crimes exposed in Cameroon. There's no denying that there are some bad people in this world, and this case serves as a prime example that highlights some of the worst in cruelty and heinous crimes. A video circulated on the darkest corners of the internet for years, commonly known as the dark web, showing some of the worst acts of violence and torture that would send shivers down the spine. Despite the efforts of police, detectives, and the best investigators, nobody could be prosecuted for these crimes for many years, and nobody knew who these people were or why they were uploading such torturous videos. However, journalists dared to make one final attempt. They decided to take the help of Google Maps by comparing roads, shadow valleys, and mountains in the videos with all possible recordings. Google Maps argued that such a precise comparison was possible and eventually discovered that the horror had been occurring in Cameroon at the border with Nigeria. The perpetrators were members of a dangerous group called Boko Haram. It's a satellite view, so the pixels were unclear, but due to the falling shadows in the video and the dryness of the trees, journalists were able to reconstruct that the event had taken place in March of 2015. They also identified which Cameroonian soldiers resembled the perpetrators in the video, resulting in the arrest of 7 criminals. This investigative success was achieved with the help of Google Maps, without which it would have been impossible to arrest these criminals. Number 5. Uncovering of an illegal substance farm in Switzerland. Illegal farming of various things has been in the news for a long time. A similar case would be caught in 2009 when one of the largest illegal plant farms in Europe would be uncovered by the Swiss police, thanks to Google Earth. The farm was located in the northeastern part of Switzerland, and after hearing the price, you'll be blown away. It was estimated to be worth several $1,000,000. Google Earth, a popular mapping service, was the main lead in revealing the existence of the illegal farm. The Swiss police should have spent more time using the service to pinpoint the farm's exact location and gather crucial information about its size and layout. The police discovered that the farm was spread over several acres, consisting of more than 1,000 illegal plants that were used to make narcotics. The farm was being operated by a group of narcotics dealers who were using it to produce and distribute large quantities of illegal substances all across Europe to earn some serious dirty money. And soon after discovering the farm, the Swiss police then launched a massive operation to dismantle this mafia. They would end up arresting 16 illegal substance dealers and capturing several tons of narcotics and other related materials. The discovery of the illegal farm and the subsequent arrests were a major victory in the fight against narcotics trafficking in both Switzerland and Europe. A similar case took place in the United States. Satellite imagery from Google Earth would capture neatly arranged rows of dozens of plants, and a subsequent aircraft investigation would confirm the findings. Curtis Croft was allegedly found to be cultivating 3 times the legal amount of plants permitted for medical use, as he was only allowed to be growing 30 mature plants for 5 registered medical patients. During a police raid on his property in Oregon, 94 plants would be seized, resulting in Croft's arrest on narcotics charges. But both of these cases highlight the growing role of technology in law enforcement and how tools like Google Earth can be used to gather crucial intelligence and aid in criminal investigations. Number 6. Mysterious bloodstain on a pier in California. A crime scene that occurred due to a dog, or was it a cover-up for an investigation that couldn't identify the criminal? In California, Google Maps would capture what is supposedly a mysterious bloodstain on a pier that sparked an investigation by local authorities. Despite that investigation, though, the case remains unsolved, with some speculating that an injured dog may have caused the stain. The trail of blood would first be noticed by a Google Maps user who was browsing the area. The user noticed a suspicious red trail on the pier in Redondo Beach, Los Angeles, and it was very obvious because of the wood's light color. Police quickly responded to the incident and conducted a thorough investigation, but to no avail. They could not determine the cause of the bloodstain, which had left many residents of the area puzzled and concerned about who the blood belonged to and who may be the criminal. Speculation surrounding the bloodstain have left many concerned, with some suggesting that a wet dog may have caused it. Others have suggested that the stain may have resulted from an unknown criminal activity. One speculation was that it might be due to old wood material and constant water dripping. However, there is no concrete evidence to support either theory. Despite the lack of information surrounding the bloodstain, the incident has caught significant media attention. Number 7. Recovery of a stolen caravan in the UK. Until now, Google Maps has helped to catch thieves and revealed locations of missing persons, but in this heartwarming incident from the UK, a family was able to recover their stolen caravan with the help of Google Maps. The Sowens family from Lincolnshire had their caravan stolen and reported the theft to the police, but they struggled to find any leads or information about its whereabouts. Police were behind the investigation, and there was no progress in finding the thief. That was until their 11-year-old decided to search for the caravan on Google Maps using the website's Street View feature. Much to their surprise, they were able to locate their caravan on the map, parked outside what appeared to be the thief's house. The image captured the suspected vehicle, but the number plate was blurred as part of the Street Mapping Service's privacy policy. The family was shocked to see that the thief had their caravan, and he had not only stolen their vehicle, but had also attached it to his vehicle in broad daylight. They quickly took screenshots of the images and presented them to the police as evidence. The police would then use those images to track down the thief, who was arrested and charged with theft. The family was delighted to have their caravan returned to them and praised the technology that had helped to catch the criminal. Number 9. The strange scene in Mannheim, Germany. In Mannheim, Germany, a naked man appearing to climb into the trunk of a car on a driveway was captured on a Google Street View camera. This led to an outburst of internet jokes and speculations. People were curious about what he was doing naked in the trunk of a car, and the thing that made it way more suspicious was a dog that looked lifeless lying in the same driveway. The man would be spotted in the boot of a Mercedes, and at the same time, a dog was lying there surrounded by the car's contents. One internet user suggested that the man might be wearing skin-colored shorts while fixing the car, and the dog could simply be sleeping. As soon as the image came to police, they began their investigation. After going and questioning the man, he explained to the police that he had found the dog injured in the street and was trying to take it to the animal shelter for treatment. As the shelter was closed, he placed the dog in his driveway to keep it safe while running some errands. Hence, the man was not charged with any wrongdoing, and the dog was taken to the shelter for treatment in the end. Number 8. Exposing tax evasion in Greece. In Greece, those who wish to build a private swimming pool in their garden have to register with the tax office, as there are certain pool taxes within the country. The local government in Athens imposed these taxes a few years ago, but looking at the tax report and some other files, police would soon find something suspicious and suspected that many people may have already built pools on their private property and did not register them in order to avoid taxes. That's when they decided to take help from technology, specifically from Google Maps. Via this new method, they began to uncover unreported swimming pools in the country using aerial images from Google Maps and cross-checking the data with information from the land registry and tax forms. To their amazement, they had found 16,000 private swimming pools, all illegally built and without taxes. These people had evaded the treasury, but fortunately the tax office could locate the perpetrators and have them pay their dues. A similar investigation to identify illegal swimming pools took place in Riverhead in Long Island. The Google Earth satellite imagery of the town showed approximately 250 backyard swimming pools without the necessary paperwork, and owners were instructed to obtain permits or face some significant fines. To date, approximately $75,000 has been collected in fees. According to Riverhead's chief building inspector, unpermitted pools pose a safety risk, as there's no way to ensure that their plumbing, electrical work, and fencing comply with state and local regulations without the required inspections. This approach of catching people who have built illegal properties has been successful in France and now in Greece and the United States. Also in such cases, the single property tax and income tax is recalculated, as swimming pools are considered assets that reflect a certain standard of living. Number 10. Oklahoma criminals spotted after 3 years. Home invasions and burglaries are common even in this age. Although many people have installed security cameras to prevent these crimes, some criminals and robbers still flee the crime scene without being caught. A similar incident took place in 2011. A woman in Oklahoma was held at gunpoint during a home invasion that caused her to suffer from trauma. These criminals demanded that she open a safe and threatened to tie her up with her daughters to prevent them from calling for help. They looted whatever they had found and then fled the scene without being caught. Although the incident was reported, police had failed to find them. That was until 3 years later, a breakthrough in the case occurred when a neighbor searching on Google Maps had spotted the men on the victim's street. Google Street View had captured still images of the robbers moments before their crime, and they were being mapped out in the area. The victim who saw the images immediately recognized them as the same men who had robbed and threatened her before. And although Google software blurred their faces, the homeowner hoped that the pictures could lead to a break in the case, even after 3 years, and it gave the woman some justice that she deserved. Number 11. Illegal substance growth. Illegal substance dealers in Brooklyn, New York were caught on camera by Google Street View while working at their favorite corner. Multiple images captured by Google's camera car along Jackson Street and Kingsland Avenue showed the trio of narcotics dealers selling their products in front of the neighborhood grocery. The photo would help law enforcement to identify and track the suspects down. The neighborhood grocery and the store owner were unaware that dealers were hiding their goods in a magnetic lockbox behind the metal storefront sign. The NYPD and Special Narcotics Prosecutor's Office would launch an investigation into the dealers in July of 2010 after residents had complained about them selling their illegal goods in the open. The operation to catch them started, and undercover police officers made 20 purchases, buying $10 envelopes of illegal substances that were stamped with brand names like FedEx, Crossbones, and more. Some police officers followed the dealers into the bodegas where they were then given the illegal substances, and police also bought untaxed materials from them. The suspects were identified, and the trio was amongst the 7 dealers who had been arrested in an NYPD undercover sting operation. 6 of them would be indicted on multiple counts of criminal sales of controlled substances, and the 7th was charged and arraigned in a Manhattan criminal court. Thanks to investigations and technology, 7 dealers were taken off of that corner in Brooklyn. Google Street View images, surveillance photos, and undercover officers helped to make that narcotics bust happen. Number 12. Illegal logging and deforestation. The Surui tribe, located in the heart of the Amazonian rainforest in Brazil, has turned to the internet to help protect their cultures and land from illegal logging and deforestation. In 2009, Google employees trained the people in the Amazon rainforest to use cell phones and record illegal logging on their land. The tribe has hugely embraced the internet to seek help with the prevention of illegal logging and mining at home, amassing photographic evidence, and keeping Excel spreadsheets to help further their cause of saving the rainforest. Using cell phones, they can document where trees are and where there are blank areas, and also document their planting plans so that they can gain access to the carbon offset marketplace. This tribe have now mapped out the entire reserve and recorded the biodiversity and the density of the rainforest within. The tribe maintains a website with blogs, videos, and photographs for their supporters worldwide. They hope to become financially independent within the next 10 years, with coffee production and ecotourism as potential revenue sources. The United Nations even acknowledged the chief for his efforts with the title Hero of the Forest. Number 13. Dumped stuff. In a surprising turn of events, a deputy in Florida's Panhandle was able to track down and apprehend a man who had illegally dumped a boat using satellite imagery provided by Google Earth. Deputy Gregory Barnes came across an 18-foot illegally dumped boat in an undeveloped subdivision approximately 15 miles from Pensacola. Barnes had decided to use Google Earth's archived satellite and aerial images of the surrounding area to find the person who was responsible. And after searching through the images, he found a fuzzy one of the vessel at a property owned by Dwight Everett Foster. Barnes had determined that the boat had recently been dumped at the property, which had led him to Foster's doorstep. According to authorities, Foster later admitted to dumping the boat, and his son removed it from the property. It would later be revealed that disposing of the boat properly in a landfill would have cost Foster $18, a very small price compared to the $5,000 fine and potential 5-year prison term that he now faced. In another incident in 2020, a disused road off the M4 became a dumping ground for hundreds of car tires, piles of clothing, suitcases, and doors, with the waste visible from satellites on Google Earth. A resident by the name of Chris Taylor captured footage of the rubbish while on his daily exercise with his family. The area is close to homes, and concerns had been raised over the safety of nearby residents. A local councilor noted that the unscrupulous individuals were taking advantage of people staying at home and dumping their unwanted goods where they shouldn't be. Another nearby resident noted that rats were also seen at the site, and rubbish eventually became an eyesore. Despite all of this, it seems that no action had been taken to clean up the area. The lockdown during the pandemic was tiring and frustrating for everyone, but that didn't mean that the world would not work after the pandemic. People thought that the pandemic would never be over and began trashing Mother Nature in a horrible way. This case highlights the power of technology and the important role that it can play in solving crimes and bringing criminals to justice. Number 14. Weapons and bullets caught on Google Maps. Santosh Kumari, a 45-year-old military engineer, would be celebrating an annual Hindu festival at a hotel party in northern India when a stray bullet fatally struck her. The incident occurred while she was on the hotel's top floor, and the perpetrator of the shooting was unknown. In order to solve the crime, local police then turned to technology for assistance, while using Google Earth and Google Maps to map out the possible trajectory of the bullet. By plotting out an area where the shot could have been fired from, and then combining it with ballistics evidence from the scene, police eventually identified the residence of a 35-year-old man who had recently purchased a weapon. They tested it on the terrace of his house, and the man admitted to accidentally firing the shot that took the life of the woman and would be subsequently charged with culpable homicide, not amounting to assassination, and endaring the personal safety of others, as well as a slew of other weapons violations. The death would be ruled an accident, but it highlights the importance of responsible gun ownership and the consequences that can result from careless behavior. In a separate incident, someone would be caught on camera aiming a weapon at a vehicle. It's unclear why they would do such a thing, but it seems that not everyone is a rational person. In another incident captured in Colombia, Google Maps vehicle would catch the middle of an attempted robbery. The footage showed a man with a gun, believed to have been given to him by an accomplice who was wearing an orange t-shirt, standing by the side of the road. In the third image, locals, including children, are seen running for cover as the man reportedly fires at the driver. The original unblurred image clearly shows the man pointing his weapon, and it's unclear if the driver survived or not, but was certainly placed in an emergency situation. Number 15. Missing SUV. In 2013, a surprising discovery was that a man stumbled upon a vehicle while using Google Earth to check out the terrain in George County, Mississippi. The man, who had chosen to remain anonymous, spotted the vehicle while using the virtual map website to examine the terrain where he'd previously gone hunting. While using Google Earth, he noticed what appeared to be an illegal shooting house and decided to investigate further. Accompanied by his son, they walked up to the exact location of the house and used coordinates to pinpoint its location. Upon further investigation, they found the SUV, which was reported stolen and had been missing for over 6 months. The GMC Yukon was found tucked away far back within the woods and covered in brush. According to Sheriff Dean Howell, the victim had reported the theft of a vehicle from outside a convenience store. In another incident, a Google Street View image showed an abandoned car in northern India. The car had a camera on top of it, and the man is also seen throwing rocks at the vehicle in the footage. The car in the footage is an Opel Astra hatchback that had been severely damaged, and it's unclear whether the person in the footage is the driver or a passerby. In this case, the use of Google Earth allowed the authorities to locate the stolen vehicle and track down the suspect. Satellite imagery provided by Google Earth was crucial in helping law enforcement officials to determine the exact location of the vehicle, which might have otherwise gone undetected.